figure I'd give it a second, before folks tune in. Ooh, excuse me. How are we doing tonight, Jalen?
I'm all right,
I'm all
man.
right, man.
It still
It
sounds
still
like
sounds
I'm putting myself on
like
speaker.
a speaker. So it still sounds like I'm on speaker?
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah, it
like
sounds
you have
like
me
you have
on the
me on the
phone
phone
and you're
and
putting it
you're
up
putting
to
it up.
yeah.
Yeah, it might be your audio. Guys, you keep cutting in and out.
I don't know
I don't
why
know
it
why. Do
does
I
that
do
now.
that now? Say something again.
Hello?
Hello. All right, there you go. That was clear.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, before you were just cut in and out.
But
But
I
I
still can
still
hear
can hear
myself on
myself on
your end.
your end. Hmm. I don't know. Maybe you just gotta. Maybe maybe my audio is really loud, or maybe my voice is just really loud.
Should I
Should
leave
I
and come
leave and
back?
come back? Yeah. Try that. Try popping out and coming back in.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, everybody. For those coming in, we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties. For those who have done content before, you all should know how that works. It can be a headache, but that's some of the things that come with doing live streams. Of course, we are going to get back into talking about the metaverse. I saw something interesting, kind of unrelated to the main topic that we're going to talk about, metaverse in movies. Hold on a second. All right, sound check.
Better.
Good, 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 good. So, like, what I was starting in a little bit, reminding people or letting people know for who wasn't on the first stream and saw what we talked about the first metaverse, which I recommend you all to go back and check out that live stream. Um, a lot of good stuff in there, a lot of fun that we had, and so that's why you should be getting along with some of these streams, and you can catch some of the fun and throw in your comments. Maybe you guys know a movie or game or whatever that we should add into this discussion as far as the metaverse, because the first one we talked mostly about movies. This one we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to go into a couple of the movies which I wasn't able to get to, and a couple of ones which I realized I forgot about that we really need to get into. And I'm pretty sure that since we got a little bit more time, we might double back and or as Elle likes to say, circle back. We'll circle back around and probably talk a little bit more in detail to some of these other movies. But also tonight we're going to do something a little bit different than we did last week. Tonight we're actually going to get into talking about maybe a couple of TV shows, um, if I can remember them if they come up. And we're definitely going to get into metaverse gaming because that's where a lot of the forefront of a lot of this metaverse stuff is, really starting and ending. Um, I know, what was that? Didn't you tell me, Jalen, about Travis Scott? And I think we talked about it last week about possible liability to up to $2 billion for the tragedy that happened at his concert. And you know, Travis Scott literally has the highest um, metaverse concert to date so far at 26 million active participants. For those who don't know what we're talking about, metaverse concert, like what is that? For those people who are already into the gaming system, and this one was on the gaming system Fortnite. They literally take their avatars and however their avatars are dressed up, whatever skins they have, and what I mean by skins is you can design your character to literally look like whatever you want your character to look like. So you want your character to be white, black, Latino. You want them tall. You want them short. You want them muscular. You want to be a hybrid creature. You want to be a half horse, half, what was that called? A unitar, whatever. You want to be a unicorn. You want to literally be an actual animal. You can just be a bear wearing clothes. There's all kind of options that they allow you to do in the metaverse where you can decide to be whatever you want to be. So we are going to talk about because I honestly think that Travis Scott concert that he did in the metaverse, that's going to be more of the future, going towards some of this stuff. Jalen, I don't know if you heard about. Trying to remember who it was. Was it Odell Beckham Jr. maybe, who said that they want to have they want to get all their money in Bitcoin?
Yes,
it was
the
the
Rams
Rams
and
are
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
And that Bitcoin, that's also leading to actual purchase.
Now
Now
that
that you mentioned,
I'm thinking
thinking
about,
about
I'm gonna bring
bring
it
it
up.
up.
I was
I
saying
was saying
that
that
a lot
a
of
lot of
friends,
friends,
the
the
audio
audio
is
is
bad.
Yeah, I heard you kind of you're cutting in and out a little bit.
Does it sound
Does it sound like
I lost you like on the last syllable that you were saying.
Does it sound
Does it
better?
sound better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
I
have a lot
have a lot
of
of
friends
friends in this,
and
and they
this thing for years. Crypto.
crypto.
Have all your
Have all
money
your money
on
crypto banks,
crypto
crypto
ATM,
ATM,
and
and
it's not
not
a coincidence that
inside
the
the
metaverse,
metaverse,
VR
games
games
to
play,
play. Everything is just
It's weird. It loses you like every other syllable. So like I'll let everybody know if anybody had trouble understanding what he's saying. He was like more of this stuff is everything is starting to become crypto, and a lot of the banking and stuff is starting to get tied into this crypto system. More and more prominent people are doing a lot more of this cryptocurrency, and all this crypto stuff is leading more and more into the metaverse. Right now, you can use your NFTs um, and go in and start purchasing.
Wait,
markets.
I'm trying to remember what it actually stood for. What was it? Uh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little drawn a blank at what it was called. I just remember what it. Yeah. Look it up so you can give them the exact, because I don't want to just say some kind of craziness. But NFTs has
non-fungible.
non-fungible token, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what an NFT actually is you come up with your own tokens. And what it means by non-fungible is each one of these NFTs is completely unique. And they're by them being unique, they have different values that can be placed on them because they're unique. So I tomorrow could come out with my own NFT. Jalen could come out with his own NFT, and you all can do the same thing. And more celebrities are starting to come out with their own NFTs, and they will accrue certain value. People will pay real money, transfer that into crypto dollars to buy these NFTs. Do I have that pretty much correct?
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure. So I started off. There was a couple. I guess I'll get back into some of these movies. Ooh, goodness! Sound check.
What is up with my sound?
Oh boy, I don't know if that was my sound or your sound.
That was definitely. But my speak will just speak back, so I can hear
myself.
So yeah, I guess you got a lot of reverb going on. I don't know. I guess let's just try to go on ahead and muscle. So I guess what was it? Brain scan. Brain scan was another, and this is an old school.
You want me to go back to screens?
Yeah, sure, you could try that. And then when you come back in, try to pull up a brain scan so you can show it. But I'll talk about it in the meantime. See, Brain Scan is an old school movie. It actually has I want to say it's Edward. I think it's Edward Furlong who stars in it. From Terminator 2, and in this movie, it's kind of like a pseudo horror themed movie. where you can go inside of this metaverse and you can actually commit murders. And that's like the whole premise of it. You have like this guy called Trickster or something like that, and Trickster, he like encourages you on what to do, no matter how crazy it is. And like the theme of the movie is,
You guys must.
oh, hold on, let me share it. Okay, yeah, I guess going ahead and read it.
A lonely
Lonely
boy
boy
named
for
Prowler
hours
lived
lived
in
in
his
existence
in
in
his
his
absence
absence
of
of
his. Michael's
Michael's
lived in a
put in
car
a car
with
with
also
also
permanently
permanently
into his
into his life.
For his
For
bed,
his bed,
though,
so
he
he
spends his
spends
spare
his spare
time
time
watching
watching
a
a
typical girl
typical
next
girl
door
next
named
door named
Kimberly,
Kimberly,
who,
who
unbeknownst to
unbeknownst to
people,
people
also feels
also
the
feels
same
the
way
same way
about her.
about her.
A
A
huge
huge
for films and
films
video
and
games,
video games,
multiple only
only
friends,
friend,
deeply
fully
reminded
reminded
you
you
of
of
child.
the child.
They are
They
members
are
of
members of a
school,
school,
which the
which the
principal
principal fan.
Kyle tells
Kyle tells
me
me
about a
the
new
new
ultra-realistic game
ultra-realistic
called
game
Brain
called
Scheme.
Brainstorm.
Intrigued, Michael
Intrigued, Michael
leads the way
the
for
way for
the game
the
begins
game begins
with a
with
warning
a
screen
warning
explaining
screen
to him
with
that
him
the
that the
experience has
experience
something
has
probably
something problem
with
with
hypnotic
hypnotic
suggestion.
suggestion.
During his
During
first
his first
experience with the game,
the game,
Michael is
Michael is
described as a
as a
sociopath,
sociopath,
a
a
psychopath,
psychopath,
murderer by the
murderer by
daily
the
post,
daily post,
an
an
entity known
entity
as
known as
Trickster.
Trickster.
In-game,
In-game,
Michael
Michael
murders a
murders a
stranger and
stranger
takes
and
it
takes
as a
it as
Hey,
a
trophy.
Jalen,
trophy.
actually try going out and come back in again. It's doing the same thing. You'll be clear one moment, and then it sounds like you're like talking underwater or something.
Okay, let's
Let's try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that one more time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about all the technical difficulties, but that's part of the things which come with a live show. We're not dealing with multi-million-dollar budgets like some are, which maybe play the lottery enough, maybe that might happen. But what he was trying to, I guess I can try to sum it up a little bit, even though I still want him to go ahead and read it for you all to understand. It starts off with him getting this game, and when he gets the video game, it actually, and it shows you like he's like it connects into his brain, and he's completely absorbed into this metaverse. Uh, and so you have this trickster guy who's involved inside of the game, who he's kind of like how you'd have in a lot of games how you have somebody who like leads the mission and they tell you, okay, well, this is the point of doing that. Like a lot of the old school games, they used to have like a person who gives you guidance and like a little intro before the missions and tell you what you need to do and what you're trying to accomplish and things like that. Well, this trickster character kind of feels that role, and so he eggs you on to do different things within this reality. Um, I guess jumping ahead a little spoiler, Trickster is actually somehow these the things which you do in this world actually connect to the real world, and so you're not killing people only in this metaverse type reality. You're killing people actually in the real world. So that's you know the that's kind of like the premise of the movie. I won't give away how it goes and what happens, and yada 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 from there. But I figure that and that's an older movie. I want to say this movie is at best early '90s. I don't know. It could be a little bit. No, I think it. By looking at the age of the main star, it's roughly about early '90s because he's roughly the same age that he was in Terminator 2, maybe a little bit younger. So I would say Terminator 2 came out. I want to say early to mid '90s. So this would be roughly around that time frame. I'm guessing probably like '92, '93. Um, I guess I will go on to the next one that was on my list that I didn't get to last week. Uh, let's see. Virtuosity. For those who haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Virtuosity starred, what was it? Starred Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. And this was back before like most people even knew who Russell Crowe was. Um, I definitely like didn't do the connection like from seeing him in the movie Gladiator, and then he was like a big star from then on. And then years back, well, not that long ago, but I went back and watched the movie Virtuosity, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, that's Russell Crowe when he's really young." The premise of the movie is um, Denzel Washington. I believe he's a criminal. He's in prison. Hey, what's up, Atris? How we doing, brother? Um, Denzel Washington was a cop, and he was trying to catch this serial killer, and the serial killer set up like this kind of trap that ended up like killing his family. And so, um, in rage, when he catches the killer, he catches up with him. He kills the guy, and that ends up putting him behind bars in prison. Well, there is a cyber company that cyber company, they literally start taking like all of the major bad guys and putting them into a, I guess, one avatar. It's kind of like I don't know if you guys remember Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, you had Freddy, who was basically like a mix of all of these different murderers. Um, am I getting Freddy? I'm getting it. I can't remember my horror movies, but one of those guys, he's a mix of all of these different. I guess his mother was raped by all of these different serial killers and all that stuff, and somehow, even though I know that's not very scientific, somehow all of them mixed and fertilized their egg, and so I believe it's Freddy that he becomes basically like a mixture of all of these evil personalities. And then when he's killed, hold on a second.
What's going
What's
on?
going on?
All right, welcome back. Um,
Is it
Is it any better?
yeah, it's a little better. Say something else.
something else?
Something else.
All right. I hopefully that works. Hopefully we got you. It works. Um, yeah, I went on to the next movie. Pull up Virtuosity.
Okay.
Okay.
But and so what I was doing my analogy. And correct me if I'm getting this wrong. Anybody out there in the chat or Jalen, if you remember. Um, what I remember about Freddy before he's like killed and turned into the dream nightmare, he's this mixture of all of these different. And actually, I'm trying to remember. I think his mother was a nun. His mother was a nun who was treating the patients, or like not necessarily treating, but maybe she might have been treating them in the psych ward, or maybe she was just there for spiritual guidance. And a riot breaks out, and she gets raped by all of these different, you know, horrendous murderers and everything. And that's what spawned for Freddy to be all jacked up in the head, eventually become a serial killer and all that too. Well, when he gets killed, he gets put into, the dream world and stuff. So that's kind of the same kind of thing which went on with Russell Crowe's character in Virtuosity. Have you heard of Virtuosity, Jalen?
No, I have
No,
not.
I have not.
Virtuosity actually is Denzel Washington. And I guess I'll give a little recap since you missed that, and for anybody who comes into the room. Um, Virtuosity is an old school 90s movie where it stars Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington.
Okay.
Denzel Washington plays a cop who his family was killed, and he ends up killing the serial killer who kills his family.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
And so they this tech company, they decide to come up with this program, and they take all of like the major serial killers and murderers, rapists, and all that, and mix them into this one digital character.
hey,
Hey,
can I bring
can
up
I bring up
a
a show?
Sure.
show? Okay.
Okay.
The anime
The anime.
called
Yeah,
Darwin.
Darwin.
we'll come back to that, but yeah, go ahead. What's you got? Anime.
It's called
Darwin.
What?
Darwin's.
Darwin's Game?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess pull it up on the screen. I haven't heard of it. I don't know if the audio keeps doing that. You might have to put in headphones if you got them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, try that and see if that'll help out because it's like it's weird. You'll sound perfectly fine, then the last minute just like almost cuts you off. All right, sound check.
Can you
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so tell us about Darwin's Game.
One
second.
There we go. I have to
connect it.
Sorry for
the tech.
Please. Okay. Can you
hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Are you pulling it up right now?
I already have. Okay.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's saying I'll try to send your audio off. Yeah, we can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me?
You can't hear me?
I hear you now. It's weird. It cuts you in and out.
Is it clear?
Is it clear or is it still going in the dark?
I can hear it and then it goes out. RSJ says there's still an echo. So Atra says sounds like a walkie-talkie.
What it is?
Same thing I've been doing.
Let me see. I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, so
let me just tell you about Darwin's Game.
The best. So it's a male protagonist and he's a 17-year-old high school student who accidentally gets roped into Darwin's game after the death of his good friend. His sigil defies God and allows him to recreate weapons. Other simple objects he has touched before, in addition to modifying them to his will. Although this exhausts him easily, and the objects created will disappear should he lose consciousness, despite the ruthless nature of the game, Konami possesses a crying heart which tries not to kill when the situation calls for it. His intelligence, rationality, and ability to react to the situation have developed him to become a top player in Darwin's game without a single loss. So basically, he's playing a game called Darwin's game that involves a fight between life and death.
It's like, yeah, when you do that's better. Like, yeah, I guess if you just have to talk loud and in some parts you'll be a little loud. But yeah, that was better. We can hear. I could definitely hear you. I don't know. Chat, let us know. It's funny. I see 2 people in here, but it's still telling us nobody's here. But that's good. See, Atris, YouTube doesn't like you. It's saying you're a nobody, buddy. I'm just playing. So like, how do they go into like the metaverse in that one? Is he connected to something, or is he just in a dream world?
It's an app.
It's an app on his phone. Oh,
yes. So see right here. It's an online institution that play an app called
Hmm.
And the show's been running 2012.
Oh, a little louder.
The show's been running 2012.
It's still ongoing.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. If you have that, pull that up on the screen, and I'll I'll add it on.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Am I still?
Am I still to share?
No, I'll add it as soon as you put it in.
Okay.
Okay.
Saying an echo in the audio. Is it an echo on my side, Atris?
No, it's
No, it's on my side.
I was wondering, do you have YouTube or anything open?
No.
No.
Just StreamYard? Man.
Let's see.
Let's see.
It's funny. I don't hear the echo. I just hear you'll be talking at this level and then it just drops all the way down. And then brings you back up to normal just at weird moments.
Is it better
Is
now?
it better now?
Yeah, I hear you fine right now, but yeah, let's see if you say a whole sentence. How much of the sentence we actually hear? That's
I reset my laptop. I don't know why. Okay,
you know,
I have the video for Darwin.
or you know what? Or if nothing else, you just come back in on your phone. Maybe that'll work better.
Okay, let's
try that.
Yeah, that might fix the problems because sometimes, or I guess while you do that, I'll let them know. Sometimes that's why I'll have to play around with all the different things because I've had plenty of times where I'm filming perfectly fine with my tablet, audio goes out, all of those different issues. And so while he's trying to get that together, I'll go back into Virtuosity, breaking that down a little bit. Virtuosity, Russell Crowe, his character is a complete, I guess, computer generated character. He's programmed to kill and maim and do all that, and it's supposed to be a training program for police officers. They literally go into the simulated world and try to stop him over and over. And so they team up Denzel Washington's character, who's the former cop, and they team him up normally with the younger cop, a junior agent, to kind of, show them some of the procedures. Well, somehow Russell Crowe's character actually gets out of the simulation and comes into the real world. And so the same mayhem that he was causing in the virtual world, he starts doing in the real world. And so Denzel's character has to try to stop this crazy virtual character who's found his way into the real world. That's the gist of. Oh, there. Let's see if he's just came back in. Sound check.
1, 2.
1, 2.
It's weird. It almost did the same thing again.
Are you serious?
Now I hear you.
Yeah, but the
only thing is I can't hold my phone like this.
And it's funny you go echo in and out. It's weird what it's doing. Maybe you like in a cave or a tunnel.
I'm at the
same place I set up every time.
I guess. Well, if you got a book or something, just lean a book behind it. Whatever. Get it propped up. Get it nice and comfortable for yourself. There we go. And now let's do a sound check. See if you're not too far away.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll go on ahead with that. So you were saying about the
I had a trick. I don't know if you
your screen, but I can set.
Nah, I'm doing mine on my phone because I have the same headache and issues that you have on yours. Actually, you know what? We'll try to give it a shot a little while longer. If we're still having the echoing issues or whatever, then we might just have to go on ahead and try to redo this try to do this stream another night and see if we can have a little bit better luck.
Get it.
Yeah, yeah, it's still cutting you in and out.
Is it?
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I feel
I
like we
feel like we
slow
slow
going.
going.
It's like it go. That's what I heard.
Can you hear
Can
me
you hear
better
me better
now?
now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but that's the thing. I'll hear you for one moment, and then it cuts, and then it cuts you after a certain amount of time.
Is it
Is
cutting
it
out
cutting
now
out now
too?
too?
No, you're fine now. I can hear you perfectly fine.
But when I
But when I
pop up,
pop
you
up,
can
you
hear
can hear
it goes
it
in.
goes in.
It's like if you're maybe in the like I don't know wrong area or something.
I'm
I'm
literally
literally
in
in
the same
the same
exact
exact
spot
spot
we shoot
we
every
shoot every
time.
time.
I don't know. You got your Wi-Fi on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you turned off. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. You still, Atras, you still hearing that echo? Say something, Jay, so they can see if they're hearing the echo.
Oh, I
Oh,
just
I just
logged out.
logged out.
Yeah. Oh, you sound good now.
Is there an
Is there an
echo?
echo?
Nope, no echo. I can hear you perfectly fine now.
What about
What
now?
about now?
I hear you perfectly fine now.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Misha.
What's going
What's
on?
going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He said he's still hearing it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
still
I still
can.
in.
Oh, now it start doing it again.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
I turned
I
my
It's
turned
all
my
right. It happens sometimes. I've had to cancel streams and then redo them before
do you
because
want to
you
it,
wanna try to you wanna try to practice
today?
today?
what was that?
Do you want to
Do you
try
wanna try to
tomorrow? Same.
tomorrow same
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's what we'll do. We'll probably try to do it tomorrow, same time. Um, and we'll try maybe we'll hop on a little bit early and then we'll try to run through some of these see if we're still having all the same technical issues. But yeah, sorry everybody, but yeah, I guess since we're having too much difficulty and I want to hear Jalen's side, not just me blabbing, you know, then I guess it'll be better if we just go ahead. We run it back and we do the stream same time tomorrow. So we'll be starting. What is it? 7:30.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
10:30
10:30
Eastern time.
Eastern time.
that is that is a speaker going back into the mic. Either lower the volume or put the headset to eliminate that. That's what Jesse says.
I put
I
my
put my
headset
headset
on
on
and it
and
didn't
it
work.
didn't work.
Yeah, I mean we tried, and it's the same setup he normally uses. It's just tonight for some reason it is not trying to work. I don't know. Keep talking and see if it's still having that issue.
I still
I
hear
still
the
hear the
echo.
echo.
Yeah, you still there, hear the echo because it's weird for me. I hear no echo at all.
It's just
It's
me
just
going
me
in and
going in
out.
and out.
I actually hear it, or maybe I need to pop out and then come back in and see if that fixes it. I don't know.
Do you want
Do
to
you
try
want to
it?
try it?
Sure, I'll pop out and see if maybe that
Okay.
Okay.
works. I'll be right back, everyone.
So what
So what
I'm telling you
telling
guys,
you got
Darwin's game.
Darwin's game.
So I don't know if anybody's into anime, but basically it's through an app on a it's a phone app on the game from his friend. The main character, his name is Konami. He clicks the link and then he goes into the game, but he doesn't realize he's risking his life because he's in a simulated world that isn't real. And it's a battle between murdering and trying not to kill for your own moral standard. So it's pretty interesting. Um, I think we can leave a link in the description for some of these movies and or shows or games if any of you guys are interested in watching and or playing. Oh, okay, Marcus, there we go.
It stopped once I left. Man, I figured it must have been on something that was going on with mine that was fucking yours up.
Okay, so let's see if it'll let me go back to my computer.
Yeah, because I'm not. Yeah, I'm hearing you perfectly fine now. Everybody's still hearing okay? Yeah, man. I guess the audio's not liking me. That's the problem. So you say you're gonna try to hook back in your laptop?
Yep. Let's see.
Yeah, we got thumbs up out there from Jesse. Atra says it sounds good. Okay, and let's see.
You see the pixelation now?
Yeah, I see the pixelation. I don't know. That's funny.
Is there like a brick? Is that like a green screen?
It almost looks like you got a green screen.
What is
Misha
going
said, "Good now, NASA tapping you."
on?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know why anybody will be worried about piddly old me. I'm not. Oh, what's going on there? Oh, okay. What the heck? What are you? What are you doing, Jalen?
I didn't do anything. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Sometimes I wonder if whoever they have over at YouTube is like, let's just have some fun with them tonight.
I feel like I'm personally targeted.
Like now the pixelation is gone.
And now everything's back to normal.
Yeah, but for a minute it switched to like I don't know, like a rent a center kind of like setup for a minute. I don't know what was going on, or like the Great Wolf Lodge lobby or something.
Okay, so I want to get back to showing everyone Darwin's game. I guess the show must go on, right, guys?
Show must go on, especially since we kept on fighting and fighting and fighting, and we're finally through it now.
Exactly.
And you know the good part is more than likely probably a lot of people come in late, so probably needed for all that to happen and let people get in and catch the rest of the show.
Exactly. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna just show everyone a trailer. You can watch this on Crunchyroll.
And I'll mute my mic just in case.
Oh, couldn't nobody could hear that, could they? One second.
Oh, Jalen, you're muted.
Oh wow, I didn't even know it muted
Yeah, you
me.
muted yourself.
Oh, oh wow, no good.
There we go.
なんだこれ無料ゲーム
君は頑張って生き残ってね。須藤要くん。
ダーウィンズゲームうわっなんだこりゃ
あなたにシギルを教えて。
ひょっとしてこれ全部このゲームのせいなのかいやこんなゲームで殺されるのはごめんだ
勝てば、殺せば、あなたは生き残る。難しくないでしょ。一緒に遊べるといいね。ダーウィンズゲーム。
嫌な予感しかしねえ。
ダーウィンズゲーム。
Definitely got good audio. Goodness.
So, what are your thoughts on it?
It looks interesting. I was trying to figure out what was going on. You know, I'm kind of on some of this stuff. I'm an old man. I feel like,
Mhm.
but like, I don't know what's going on. I got a bunch of friends who are like really big into Japanimation,
Mhm.
and I was just, like never was really. I was always confused by it. So
Mhm.
I guess all the reading subtitles threw me off. But
But you saw, I don't know if you were able to see, but when he clicked the link, a snake came from the phone and bit him on his neck and basically knocked him unconscious into the game. So kind of like the snake bit him and he went inside the phone.
mm,
And did you see at the end they kind of had it turn green and black like the Matrix?
yeah, I noticed that part. Crazy stuff. I mean,
But
it.
what is what is the goal for the metaverse? So okay, we convert everyone to it. What is our end goal?
Well, it's kind of like Ready Player One. Remember how on Ready Player One, even though they were living like, or actually even better, I guess I'll say this before I go into my whole Ready Player One analogy.
Okay.
Klaus Schwab, who's you know
The
one of
head
the leaders of Agenda 2030 and the World Economic Forum, he said a quote a couple of years ago. And he said, "You'll own nothing and you'll be happy."
Yes, I remember that speech.
And that's the point of it. If we're so immersed into this virtual world and we prioritize living in that virtual world, then we're not as upset about our social status that's going on. It's not going to matter if you live in a tiny little apartment and you don't have the nicest clothes. As long as you have it in that virtual world, you can have a house on the beach. You can have, you're able to have all of these things
You
that
can
you're
have
not
whatever
able to
you
have in
want.
real life. And so it's a way to satisfy you and give you that I'm trying to remember what is it called, endorphin or whatever, release those happy endorphins in your
Yeah.
brain. Yeah, so that way that you're happy with what's going on instead of focusing on the real kind of world which you're living in. Just kind of like the analogy of the Matrix. They are literally in a world that is meant to give them a sense of hope and some kind of enjoyment and fulfillment because they're not able to have it in the actual real world. If they actually saw the real world, a lot of those people would reject that real world and would have problems and angst and would be fighting, normally fighting the machines, just like how you have in Terminator, where in the future, the humans are trying to fight to overthrow the machines because the machines have kind of like destroyed the world they're living in and trying to actually enslave them. The only difference is between Terminator and the Matrix is Terminator, it's actually going on. The Matrix, they've gotten to the point where now they're fighting that battle mostly in your mind. Now, granted, there are physical wars that are going on between the machines and the different hover ships, but that is the purpose. I mean, and so if you understand how the whole timeline of how these movies all sit together, because I don't know if everyone knows it out there or not, but what is her name? Sophia Stewart. I hope I'm getting her name correctly. Sophia Stewart. She claimed that she wrote The Matrix and that she wrote Terminator.
Can
Did
I
you hear
break?
that?
Yeah, and then she said that her real interpretation for the Matrix was something about gay love or
No, not her. That's
oh,
that's that's Lana Wachowski.
oh okay.
But I don't know
You
if you know about. In fact, look up Sophia Stewart. Look up Sophia Stewart and Matrix, and we'll put it up on the screen so people will know who we're talking about, so they can go and look in, and they can vet what she's saying for themselves and see if it has merit to them or not. If they just think that she's just somebody trying to, hop on and claim credit for something that she's not due credit. What did Misha say? 100 Marcus. They are making the real world as unbearable as possible, so we can accept. So we can escape to the meta. That's the plan, because if the elites had to share what they have, then they would be unhappy. They don't want that. They want to keep taking more and more and more. And also, by putting you into the metaverse, they also have more power and control over you, because now they can literally set up the whole framework of rules which you set up in, and there's no wiggle room in the real world. Oh, what were you saying, Jay?
I have the picture of her pulled up so they can see.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Yeah, Sophia Stewart.
She says they are breaking the law every time they make a new film from those franchises. Don't believe me? Read the court documents. All the evidence in the final federal court rulings for 2014 and 2019.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's interesting about all these movies, Marcus?
Mm-hmm.
They're all sci-fi, based around the same thing. So we could say these are genius producers, genius writers, script writers, but I think they're getting money from whoever is pushing this to tell you what's going on, because they like to put these little gems in films and TV shows and games, because a lot of people are so focused on the entertainment aspect they're not paying attention.
Well, that's what somebody said on the stream the other day. They were saying, well, they looked at it as if these writers are coming up with stuff, and there's like a whole team of scientists just waiting around, and like they see a movie and they're like, we can make that happen. I'm like, no. That's not what's going on. You got it completely backwards. The Simpsons isn't predicting stuff. Futurama isn't predicting stuff. They're being told what is coming down the pike, and they're putting that in their entertainment. That's what's happening. I mean, out here in Hollywood, for instance, when they have these big Hollywood parties, it's not just like, okay, here's the rock star party over here, and then here is the hip hop star party, and then here's the business leader party, and then here's the politician party. No, they all party together. All of this upper echelon hang together. So when they meet somebody at a party and they're like, yeah, I got this that I'm working on, this new project, whatever. I was wondering if we could do a little bit of business. Maybe I could throw it your way to put this out in your next song or in your movie or whatever. And if you look at majority of movies that you watch the credits. If you look at the credits all the way down, you'll start seeing Department of Labor. You'll see Department of Defense. You'll see what is the other one? I can't think of. Not Secret Service. Homeland Security. You'll see all of these different governmental departments, which are on almost every movie that you watch. And the reason why is because they are approving certain parts of the script. Sometimes they're adding stuff to certain parts of the scripts. And so that's the reason why you see some of this stuff. That guy who just recently got locked up, what do they call it? The whatever shaman who for the January 6th thing. He's in The Simpsons, years back. You think that that's a coincidence? You think that this guy saw a Simpsons episode and decided, yeah, I'm going to fulfill the prophecy that happened on The Simpsons? No, this is all coordinated. It's the same thing when they showed Trump running for president and the girl drops the sign. They know this stuff is going to happen. They already know Trump's now. Do they have somebody go and stand there wearing the same thing to drop the sign to make it all fit even more so? Yes, they do that. But since he has Sophia Stewart up on the screen, she claimed that she wrote The Matrix, Terminator, and I also heard that she did the early storyboard for I Robot with Will Smith. Now, how these fit together, and I'll kind of do it kind of quickly try to throw it together because I plan on doing a breakdown of this in particular, which along with I'm behind on my breakdowns, but I'm redoing the Matrix, the first one. And I'm going to do the second one and the third one. I'm going to put all of those out before the movie comes out in December. Um, but also after I finish that, I'm going to do because of course I'm going to have to break down the fourth one when it comes out. But I'm going to tie in and show you guys how they all, especially from like her vantage point, some of the stuff what she said she wrote, how they tie together. Um, how it was supposed to work is you have that original. I think it started, yeah, with Terminator. Terminator and Sarah Connor, having John. Well, John, as he gets older, of course, he leads the resistance, and that's showing the resistance fighting. That resistance era, him in the future, well, before he even got into the resistance, that's where the iRobot part comes in. The iRobot, Will Smith's character, is supposed to be a version of him as an adult. Basically, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Yeah, John Connor. That's supposed to be a version of John Connor and him not having that trust for machines and wanting to fight against machines and stuff like that. And so that's the early phase that leads into the future world, which you have in Terminator. You know, when they show in the future part and you see the robots walking around with the machine guns and they're fighting the resistance.
Yeah.
That's supposed to happen after, the iRobot days when all of that stuff when society completely falls.
Marcus, this may be off topic, but I wanted to share a story. So, since we're talking about the metaverse, one thing I guess I could say is really what grinds my gears is parents, even parents that are the same age as mine, who have children who are younger than I am. Why are you giving your 8, 10, 9, 11-year-old new iPhone 13, new iPhone this? We didn't have that when we were my age. And I'm not saying that from a point as, oh, it's unfair. No, but these kids walk around like brain dead zombies. They don't even, Marcus, I've seen it I had a friend whose little brother was 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hot sauce bottle. It said Hot Louisiana. He goes, "Oh, you got Hot Louisiana hot sauce." I said, "Hot Louisiana?" I was like, "How you on your phone 20 hours a day and still can't read?" These kids, they don't have social.
But that's the point. And a lot of these parents, because they work so much, they feel like I have to give my kid this, I have to give my kid that, and it pacifies the kid. But you got to remember, you're seeing it from one angle, but you got to look at how much inertia has been pushed for this stuff to go this way. There's a lot of inertia put on these parents, which it pushes them into getting their kids involved in that. There's a lot of stuff that's around these kids, which it attracts them to the metaverse type stuff. And the same people who are putting out this technology are the same people who are working on the metaverse and working on all these other things. And that's how it all ties in together.
Have you ever heard of Roblox?
Hold that one. Hold that thought. We're going to get the robots.
That's a super popular game against
I know. Well, that's definitely part of Metaverse. So we're going to get into that one. Hold that one. I wanted to wrap this up on that whole tie-in between the Matrix. You can pull her down off the screen. Okay, but make sure you guys go look into Sophia Stewart. So after the iRobot days, it goes into the futuristic time when they're actually fall of society and they're actually fighting the robots. And then after they've lost to the robots, the remaining humans are rounded up and then they're put into that form of the Matrix, like literally being forced into the metaverse where there's no coming in and out of it. You just live there now permanently. Now that's how all three of those films kind of tie together, kind of loosely. But yeah, you can go on ahead and go into Roblox because I've just started seeing a little bit about it. I saw like this one guy, and he was bragging about buying his girlfriend like a 75,000 Roblox. It's like 75,000 Robux. Gucci, digital Gucci purse.
Okay, so I know you don't have any kids, but when I was my age, like we had it was like a site called Action All Stars where you could pretend like you would be online and you could make a person, give them a name, make them a sport, choose your favorite sport team, they would be on that sport team. But the biggest thing I remember was Club Penguin. So you get your own personal penguin, you could change the color, you could change, let me see if I could pull it up for everyone.
Yeah, because now you're talking about some stuff I have no. You completely lost me.
Club Penguin is so old, Marcus. I was younger than my younger brother was when Club Penguin was popular. This was popular around 2011, 2012, 2009, around that time span. Let's see.
It looks like Atras, he knows about it. Yeah, I don't know. I missed that.
Yeah, exactly. Atras is mad old.
I forgot how old are you, Atras?
Yeah, let's see. I don't know if you guys can see my link.
Hold on.
Oh, see,
Okay.
they shut down after receiving copyright from Disney. See, Disney will come snatch whatever from you.
Well, it kind of reminds me of maybe they said it was copyright off of Chili Willy the Penguin.
Maybe.
Are you familiar with Chili Willy the Penguin?
No.
I guess that's the difference in age. Oh, 31.
I guess we're both showing our age.
Yeah, because like I grew up like before school. Like that was like one of my favorite little. It's like a little short cartoon. Like pull up Chili Willy the Penguin. I used to watch that like every morning before going to school. Like well, I was like I think around seventh grade. I used to watch it. Like he had a little song on Chili Willy the Penguin. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not gonna sing it, but I mean, it kind of looks like him. But yeah, that's one of the little cartoons we used to
Okay,
watch back in the day.
with Club Penguin, it would you could go in, you could customize your penguin. You could get him headphones. You can have your penguin wear a scarf, different beaks, go to different things, play different games, and you would buy coins. You can buy more things. And when I tell you, every kid had a Club Penguin. Every kid had Club Penguin. So I see with my generation and the generation maybe before, like the mid to late '90s babies. I'd say for them, I feel like they did little taste. You know when you're at the grocery store and they got all different types of free samples all over the place. I
Hmm.
feel like with our generation, they went, here's a little sample here, here's a little sample here, oh, here's some here, and then for the next generation to come, it's okay. Here it is. This is it. This is the finish. And then you get games like Roblox. It's basic. It's kind of like a GTA in the
I guess
sense.
I guess while you're talking about it, bring up Roblox. Or yeah, am I saying it right? Yeah, Roblox. Okay.
Look, it looks like the movie with Ryan Reynolds we went over.
Ah, Free Guy.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It doesn't it? It just looks like a bunch of Legos, right?
It looks like a Lego version of it.
Yep. So basically, you get loaded into the game. You get your own player. You can have a car. You can have. I think you can have a house. Like a friend of mine's little sister plays the game with her friend, and their friends will be like, "Oh, come pick me up in the car." So like you have your friends going to pick you up from your house in a video game.
Wow. I mean, like I guess for me, like in the Grand Theft Auto days when I was playing it, a lot of times, well, only like I guess some people had it. Excuse me. Some people had it on online, and they would like interact with a lot of people online. I didn't really play it online very much.
Are you
I
talking
always
about
had like
GTA 5?
shitty signal. I always had like a bad signal, so I didn't like doing it because like if you got a bad signal on playing online games,
You were gonna
especially
get, yep.
you're gonna just get murdered most of the time. So I didn't want to do that. And especially like when I play Fight Night, like if I played somebody sitting right next to me, they virtually had no chance. But I play somebody online, and now my hook didn't land right when I wanted the hook to land, and say
Oh, so
whatever.
are you an OG Fight Night player?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Fight Night. I'll put it out to everybody. I only play a couple of different games. Even though I played football and I was a quarterback for a while, I am not good at Madden. I'll just admit it. I'm not good at Madden.
You know what's
Um, you give me any shooter game where I can actually have, the controller like gun and shoot. Yeah, don't give me that up down and trying to. No, I'm not that good. I mean, I've played Call of Duty and I beat a couple of those back in the day, but no, I'm not great at a lot of those types of RPG games.
You know,
Oh,
my dad used to be able to beat me in basketball, like the NBA 2K,
hmm
and that was 9 years ago. Actually, while we're on 2K, I would like to say, speaking of the metaverse, it puts you right. The mode my player kind of
yeah, I
puts you.
heard the new one does that where now you walk around the actual city
Well, no,
and play pickup games and stuff like that, and interact with people.
Oh, Mark, they've been doing that since 2K14. 2K in 2K14
Oh,
it became so this is how they did it. There was a new rollout. So 2013, that's when the first PlayStation 4 started dropping. So every September of the fourth, like, so basically the start of the fourth quarter, they release a new NBA 2K. So they released 2K14 on the PS3 and a new updated platform, the PS4. So it got the jump from the graphics to gameplay, visuals, everything just took a huge, it went from here to here. Like, it was a huge jump. And next thing you know, you have a park to go play to. Now you and dudes can go play 2-on-2 in a park. And then eventually it just got better and better gradually. Then you could started repping a certain park. There used to be 3 parks. You could pick which park you rep. You build up your rep. Not only that, it's called the grind, where you grind to 99 overall, which is like playing a bunch of games, workouts, drills. Like, you have to practice and train every day to get your overall up. Like, excuse me, as if you were playing in real life. But what's sad about that game is it becomes paid to play. So they start your overall at maybe about 60. And if you're not buying virtual currency, excuse my language, but it just becomes a bitch to even build up anything. And then you're stuck on the game for hours. So they turn it into a metaverse, but just like what they're probably going to do as it progresses, everything's going to be pay to play and maybe free off, like Fortnite. Fortnite, they got a lot of people on it where you could play free games, but they have different skins and all those different things. You're going to be able to sell style to anybody. So then it becomes pay to play to get all the cool things.
yeah, and I noticed the only reason why Fortnite, like I used to hear about it, and it really I was like, yeah, whatever. It didn't catch my attention till I started hearing people where I'm a little bit more familiar with get involved in it. Like I've said before, I listen to a lot of reggaeton, and so one of my favorite people to listen to is Ozuna.
Mm.
And so when Ozuna like debuted that he was joining Fortnite and that there was a Ozuna character you can play, and then I learned that there was a J Balvin character. Um, that's when I actually started paying attention to what was going on with Fortnite. I was like, oh wow, this is actually a big deal that I had no clue what the hell is even going on. So I mean, and then I mentioned earlier in the show about Travis Scott, tragedy aside, what happened, and this is, I hope I'm just that crazy and loopy. Um, But I was like, man, I hope that somebody didn't intentionally make this happen. The whole Travis Scott concert go the way it did to push more for the metaverse. Because I mean, he had 26 million people in his concert. 26 million for his concert that
And
he
it's
had
not the
on
first
Fortnite.
Travis Scott concert where people are raging and going crazy. You know, Travis Scott's concerts are known for being wild.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that the NBA Finals last year had 4 million viewers. The World Series the year before that had about 2.3 million. Um, the Super Bowl like last year had a little bit less than that. And
And he had
so
56 million people in
that's what I'm
attendance.
saying. When he's getting 26 million, he's getting more than the Super Bowl, NBA Finals, and World Series
In one
combined
place,
in
physical.
one concert. One concert.
And everyone's there physical. It's not through virtual link up meetings. No, everyone's physically there.
Mm, silent disco parties are kind of metaverse. Like, yeah, they are. Do you know what he's talking about? Silent disco parties, Jalen?
Talking about
How it works is like
is
everybody has
this
the
on Discord?
headphones. They have headphones. Yeah, I'll put the. I will not. They have headphones on, and it's pumping the music through the headphones, and everybody's just kind of partying along, listening to the headphones. But like, if you don't have on headphones and you walk in, you just see a bunch of people dancing around with headphones on.
Hmm. It's like when you're somebody's at the house with you. Oh, like this.
Yes,
Oh wow, that is really weird.
yeah, that's what it's like.
The only time that's acceptable is if you're in a car ride or if we're in the house and you're just relaxing, listening to some music, and maybe I come in the room and I'm like, oh, look at them just jamming out.
No, but
But
that's like whole parties are like that.
exactly, that's a social gathering.
That reminds me of back onto a movie. Um, because games are his area, movies are mine. If you guys don't know, I've watched a ton of movies, but this one is actually, if you have HBO, check this movie out because it's really crazy. Um, Archer says it's usually like three channels. So yeah, I imagine they probably got like techno on one, kind of like hip hop on another one, and pop is like another one, like the movie Her. I still haven't seen that, by the way, which I need to check that out. Oh yeah, I'll talk to you about that later. I'll DM you something I want to ask you, Misha. Um, so three different musics going on. It reminds me honestly of and I guess I can go in more about the movie, but because it's on my list, Fahrenheit 451. There's a part when they go to this
Oh, we I think we went over this movie in part one.
in the movie where you walk in, they're sitting there and they have um they're in like the little virtual thing. They have the goggles on and
Yeah.
headphones, and they're
Mhm.
all sitting like this is like, I guess, a tech bar. I don't know what to call it, but it's a group of people who are sitting in this bar, and they're all with the goggles on and headphones. And because of the scene, it's easy to miss what's going on because they're like going to go meet an informant, and so he's talking to his chief, his fire captain, or whatever. He's talking to the informant, but in the background, you see, well, it's not as hyped up and fun looking as that, but they're all just sitting down with these virtual goggles on. Um, and for those who are not familiar with Fahrenheit 451, let me know and I can go more into it. I don't know. Did I tell you about it? You said I talked about it last time, I think.
Fahrenheit, yes. I think we mentioned it briefly in
Well,
the.
oh, we mentioned it. Did I tell you what it's about?
I think we just briefly touched up on it, but it was a
Pull up.
quick.
I was gonna say, go ahead, pull up a preview of it if we can.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's better to just pull up a preview of it, and then we can go in and explain. Um, it's crazy. It's really, really good. It's actually a remake of an older movie, which is based off of a book. But yep, there we go.
Now, have any of you guys ever seen one of these bad things for real? We burned almost every physical book in the country. So by the time you guys grow up, there won't be one book left. Burn it.
What's wrong, Montag? Your vitals have been off recently.
Did firemen used to put out fires?
That's a classic lie. Have you used your drops today?
I want to know why we burn. We are not born equal. We must be made equal by the fire. And then we can be happy.
Sounds like
I got things inside my head that don't make sense. Dreams that I can't explain. Hey, before the men come back, do you want to know what's inside these books? Insanity.
They're lying to you.
So aren't you telling me?
In fact, Jalen, did you see that? If you go back, I think it's maybe like 2 seconds. It's showing that bar.
You never do anything. You're just like baby.
Not like baby.
We have an important task for you.
If anybody sees me, I'm dead. Dangerous. Why don't you tell me?
What bar?
You never do anything.
Back a little bit more. It does a span over showing it.
Hey, before the men come back, do you want to know what's inside these books? Insanity.
You're lying to
There it
me.
is. You see it? Did you see it? Yeah, just go back a little. You'll see it right there. That's the bar. Yep, that right there. That is the VR bar that they're at. They go up there, there's the bar, they can go and get their cocktails, and then they go back to these VR little digital things where they're set up, and they have the VR goggles and everything.
Yeah, I see it. It looks like they're just sitting down, just like this.
Yeah, that's the metaverse thing that they put in the movie, and you don't notice it really quickly because that part where he's talking to the female character in there, that's the part where they focus more on that part, and then it's just kind of off in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But that's right there. That's the metaverse, which those people are involved in. And also, you notice something how they were talking about the drops. That's kind of like the same thing with this new Matrix movie. I don't know if you guys have seen the previews, but everybody's taking a pill. Everybody's taking this blue pill all the time.
Yep.
And it's helping keep you into that simulation more. It's the same thing what those drops do in this film is they make you forget. So you have less memory of your childhood, past, things like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so what they're doing is they literally are burning all of the books and information. It's illegal to own books. Well, I think it's like 3 books that you can own. It's like Moby Dick, the Bible, and like something else. And that's it. But every other book is burned because they believe that books create insanity. And so they erase everybody's history, basically. And so if you don't have any history, nobody can understand the grievances. That kind of reminds me of like what some of the people are doing with the CRT stuff. But, I don't want to go down that road tonight. But yeah, but this whole movie is about them trying to erase information and get you everybody more pliable to this new society that they're trying to push everybody into. Like literally in that reality, they say that it's a rumor, it's a lie that firefighters used to put out fires.
Yep.
And he's considered a firefighter, and what they do is they track down people who have books. They arrest them, sentence them to prison, and they burn the books and things like that.
Oh wow! Did you? I don't know if you saw my face. I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah,
So
that's that's what's going.
so are they like the overseers of books?
Yeah, well, you can't have books, and so they run around literally breaking into houses and stuff as if like they just busted into a meth lab. That's what they're doing, and collecting all the books and burning all the books. And
That's
so the firefighters there, instead of water hoses, they have flamethrowers.
exactly. It's
And
like that today.
yeah, to try to destroy information. Well, right now, what they're doing is this is the early start because how these things work, they always have to start at a certain level and then keep picking up and picking up and picking up and picking up. So what they're doing is they're first starting off with a little light censorship and then increase the censorship and then increase it. So as you get used to this new level of censorship, then they ratchet it up a little bit more. And so by the time you look 10 years down the road, it can get to a reality like that. I'm not saying that it's going to jump to that reality exactly. Maybe it would take longer to get to that point, but that's the end goal because they know that we can't show our full hand and jump to the full agenda. Leave people feeling like, am I crazy? Is this really happening? Like, no, they wouldn't do that. And for the handfuls of resistance who are going to be pushing against it, they can subdue them as long as they keep majority of the population, you know, compliant. That's the goal.
Well, Marcus, they say to control the masses, you got to spoon feed them piece at a time. Just like what we do with the show, we don't give it all at once. We just feed it to them, feed it to them, feed it to them, work their way up. And it's the same thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, Misha must have seen it. And the resistors try to memorize a complete book so they can pass it on. Exactly. There's each person they spend their whole life memorizing a book. Some of them can memorize multiple books. Like there's this one kid in there who he's remembered like thousands of books or something like that. But each person they become basically like the identity of that book that they read.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like say for instance, Jalen, you might read a book on say Jackie Robinson, and you
Okay.
become the
Jackie
foremost.
Robinson.
Yeah, you're Jackie Robinson. You know everything about Jackie Robinson. Anybody's going to ever learn about Jackie Robinson, it'll be up to you to be able to pass on that information because they're trying to destroy all the information. And so, like, I'll take a random person, Roberto Clemente. I might become the expert on him, and that's all. Or say Geronimo or whatever. Sorry, I don't know why I'm thinking these are, I guess, heroes in my own mind. But so that's why they pop to mind. But that's how it is in there. I believe like one of the books was Toni Morrison. And that's going into, I think that's a critical race. I think she's the one who wrote critical race theory. But it's interesting that they put that in the movie. But yeah, that's the Fahrenheit that's Fahrenheit 451. And uh what was it? I guess that's all that I was going to say on that. You got any questions on that one, Jalen?
No, I felt like I just got an earful of a bunch of information at one time.
You got a little overloaded there.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna lie, I'm like really tired. I had work, cleaning the car, running errands. It's just been a busy day, man.
Here, let me give you one where it's not as heavy. This is an old school one because I guess we've talked about Grand Theft Auto, we talked about Fortnite. You know what was the game that came before these that was pushing this? Sims. You
Oh,
familiar with Sims?
Sims. We know about Sims.
Yeah, it was building up your own little world.
Pretty much. There was this one guy on YouTube who had a whole wife. Like the game was programmed for her to wake up in the morning and make him breakfast. It was pretty crazy.
And they started doing it a lot more. I noticed these Facebook games. Like I had to just like, all right, some of these games I enjoy and they're fun. Like it was this one sniper game which I used to love to play all the time, and it would just take up so much time with some of these games, and that's the point. Get you hooked into spending all these time in the games, and then trying to get to this next level or this next accomplishment, or even even stuff like Words with Friends. They put a new function where like you compete weekly. So you have to be on the game more to try to reach these new levels and try to get to the top of that leaderboard. And you're not even accruing anything. But it's just the point of keeping you in there longer and longer and longer and longer.
Same thing with video games. That's how they're gonna get young boys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, pull up Lawnmower Man. I know you've never heard of this.
I heard you mention it on the list, but no, I have not.
Yeah, at the end of last week, I threw out a whole bunch of things real quick. Lawnmower Man. I saw this when I was a kid, and it was just kind of like it blew my mind. Anybody in the chat who's familiar with Lawnmower Man?
Can you give us a quick synopsis, Marcus?
All right, Lawnmower Man. He plays a mentally disabled adult male, and he goes around. He just cuts grass, and so the scientist man, which you see the blonde haired man, he's the Lawnmower Man. Pierce Brosnan, who he plays the scientist or doctor, whatever.
In Back to the Future, right?
No, in that movie, he
No,
actually plays James.
I'm saying, isn't he this doctor slash scientist in Back to the Future?
No.
Oh, they just look very similar in these pictures.
Well, the blonde hair guy, that's who you're thinking of. You're thinking of Doc Brown, but no.
Oh, okay, got you. Continue.
Yeah. Says I think there's a. Archer says I think there is a game in The Simpsons called Lawnmower Man. I bet there is, and it's probably a nod to this movie, which a lot of people probably have forgotten about. Anyway, this mentally disabled man, he starts hooking him up to the computer. And as he keeps putting him in these simulations, each time he comes out of simulation, he gets smarter and smarter and smarter. And
So
he gets,
he's learning how to beat the simulation every time he goes through?
well, once he leaves the simulation, he takes that knowledge out into the real world, actually. And so he's literally getting smarter. And he gets to a certain time where he's no longer mentally handicapped. And he gets to the point where he knows more than the professor. Like, he goes in one segment and then he comes out and now he can speak Latin perfectly. And so, kind of like how it was showing in Matrix, how they were inputting different knowledge and fighting and all kind of things directly into his brain. That's what they were doing with him. And then eventually it happens where he starts to merge into the machine and things like that. I won't give away the whole thing, but
So he becomes half man, half cyborg?
in a nutshell,
Ugh, those things creep me out.
yeah. This
I
and
can only
this
do
is,
them if they're animated.
and as he gets smarter and smarter, he starts getting, more cocky, more arrogant. He goes from that nice, humble, nice guy to really starting to be a real asshole.
Oh man.
It's
So
so
it starts changing him. It starts changing him in his personal life.
yeah, it starts changing his personality, everything. He gets vengeful and all kind of stuff like that because he's able to see people that who might have kind of joked around or manipulated him or lied to him. He sees through everything now,
Exactly.
and he has a bit of a temper. But yeah, that's another early, I believe, metaverse movie right there. Um, I could say the net with Sandra Bullock, but not really. That's just showing how more of us are. That's kind of like the push to showing how more of us are going to be doing more work online. Believe it or not, Sandra Bullock's character in that movie, her boss has never even met her before in person. She's been working for this company for over a decade. They've never even met her.
Oh
So
wow.
when they steal her life, it's easy to steal it because most of the people have never seen her before. Like she does everything literally online. And so even though she's not con- completely into a metaverse or whatever, her whole life is basically tied to the computer. She doesn't even call for her pizza. She literally was like ordering her pizza online.
That's so demanding.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um so I guess let me skip on to the next one.
1 second.
This one you got to pull up the preview.
Keep going.
This one I'm going to need you to pull up the preview on it because it was just so mind boggling, and it's probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Please, out there in the chat, let me know if you are familiar with Demolition Man.
Hey man, I'm falling asleep, but we thugging it on a Monday
Yeah,
night.
come on, I'm gonna need you. We got a little bit more, so we can tough it out.
I know this. I do this because this is a good place where everybody can just get off how they're feeling, different things, and I like how we go and we could talk about movies, we could talk about games, and tie it into things that are going on and how it's affecting us.
Mhm.
Remember, everyone, it's not just politics. It's so many different things around you. It's your local governments. There's corruption at every stop in every corner. And we're just here to try to point out some corruption we saw in our random lives.
Hmm. Yeah, pull up Demolition Man. And this will be the last one I have you pull up. I'll do a quick synopsis on the last movie. I won't say it yet,
Okay.
but the last one you definitely need to check out. That I'll say. This one you got to see this movie. I've probably seen this movie. I don't know 100 times maybe.
At the end of a century, ravaged by violence, a
Pause it.
society of
Pause it
perfect
real quick.
order.
Oh,
The
Wesley
reason
Snipes
the
is in
reason why I
this?
said pause it real quick is because a lot of people who've seen this movie miss this part right here. What's going on right there is it's showing him in cryogenic. Um, that's the cryo prison. I know
Yeah.
we noticed the cryo prison, but we don't think about what's going on in the cryo prison. They literally have monitors on, monitoring his heart rate and all that stuff like that, of course. But they're monitoring their brains because they're programming their what do they call it? Rehabilitation directly into their brains. They're literally supposed like sitting in a digital world in a sense
Oh, wow.
while they're in prison. And
But,
so
but
he's trapped in a cryo prison for I think it's like 30, 35 years or something like that.
Marcus, that's similar to the Matrix in the sense of how they basically say we're pods and they choose who, and how you're saying he was stuck in the cryogenic chamber. It's kind of like
Mhm.
a pod in the Matrix where you're just born into this fake fantasy world where nothing's real.
Yeah, in that society, all prisoners go into the cryo prison.
Hmm.
So go on ahead, run.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see this trailer.
Mhm.
At the end of a century, ravaged by violence, a society of perfect order will arise.
70
Criminals
years.
will be
Wow.
frozen and reprogrammed in cryogenic prisons.
The prisoners are ice cubes. Their criminal instincts are being reprogrammed as they sleep.
Aggression and deviant behavior will be totally eliminated.
He's a criminal the likes of which you have never seen. In a bad time, he was the worst.
I'm gonna love running this
There
place.
goes my boy Wesley.
But in the year 2032,
This morning, Simon Phoenix escaped from this cryo facility. We are, quite frankly, not equipped to deal with the situation.
amidst a world of peace and calm,
We're police officers.
But
We're not trained for this kind of violence.
Oh my goodness.
did you see the computer screens they had there? He's having a meeting. He's having a meeting talking to his board members all through a computerized digital screen.
amidst a world of peace and calm.
We're police officers.
Yeah, he's saying we're police because in that future, there's no more violence. There's no murders. There's no nothing. It's completely they stomped out everything. And when he escapes from prison, he just starts like they literally hadn't had a murder in like 7 years.
Oh wow.
He gets out and he kills like 10 people within like his first hour out.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so you can go ahead.
Keep playing it.
Yeah, keep playing.
We're not trained for this kind of violence.
How was the fiendish Simon Phoenix apprehended back in the 20th?
In the end, it took just one man, John Spartan.
You mean the Demolition Man?
The conditions of your parole are full reinstatement into the SAPD and immediate assignment to the apprehension of Simon Phoenix.
Two mortal enemies
Just dropped in to say hi.
from another time.
Pass is over, John. Time for something new and improved. Oh, hell.
Will be unleashed on a future that isn't big enough for the both of them. Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, Demolition Man.
I'm telling you, that movie, that preview doesn't that trailer does not do that movie justice.
At all.
To how yes, Simon say that again. Simon Phoenix was badass.
See, I have to see this. This is before my time, so I have to go back and watch it.
In this movie, when they go into the cryo prison, what happens is instead of like John Spartan, which is Stallone's character, he gets like programmed with knitting and how to be a seamstress basically as his rehabilitation. Simon Phoenix, on the other hand, he gets martial arts, enhanced strength, he gets tactical training, terrorism training, bomb making abilities. Like that's his rehabilitation that they put in him.
Oh my goodness! This sounds
So
like
when he gets out, he's stronger. He knows how to fight, and I mean, like you see in the beginning, like Stallone is easily like kicking his ass. Not when he gets out.
I'm gonna just keep the head nod forward.
Oh, I forgot. Also, he also has the ability to learn how to hack all the computers and stuff. Yes.
So he can hack anyone's computer.
Yeah, he can hack all the computers. He knows like all these different passwords and everything.
Oh,
now
Lord.
I won't tell you why he knows all this shit.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, they basically took one of the worst criminals from the 90s and then gave him every talent for a criminal to make them 10 times worse.
Wow. Sounds like some evil recruitment for the metaverse.
Well, and then they let him out. Well, because in that world, like in that future, you can't have physical. Oh, I forgot about that. You can't have physical contact.
Oh, wait, Marcus. Now let me ask you a question. With the pandemic that has ravaged the whole entire world for going on 2 years now, do you think more of this was a push towards the metaverse more than it was about a virus? And these are your opinions.
These are my opinions. I'm not speaking medical information or whatever, but if you look into David Icke, David Icke talked about this a couple years ago. He talked about the push for 2030, all of these things. And so, actually, you know what? I wonder if I have a video. Look up David Icke. I wonder if there's like a short, like, I think there's like maybe like a good, like 3 minute video where he's being interviewed about 2030. And he lays out, and keep in mind, this interview, which I'm talking about, he did this some years back. I mean, I want to say at least at a minimum 5 years ago. Um, and he was,
David Icke actually got deleted by YouTube for spreading misinformation. That's interesting.
um, of course he would get, of course they would get rid of him.
Wait, Marcus, look at my screen. Did you see it says see us where 5G takes us?
He was talking about all of this stuff before any of this stuff came out.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first person I've heard of Agenda 2030 from.
Virginia.
Then when everybody was calling him a quack and a kook and all this stuff, then the World Economic Forum under Klaus Schwab start talking about Agenda 2030.
When did you start seeing? What year did you start seeing the reports for 2030?
When I first started hearing about 2030 was like I didn't believe it then when I was hearing it.
Yeah.
But 2016 was when I first started hearing about this stuff. I just didn't believe it or take it seriously. And then I want to say about 2018, 2019 is when I started actually listening to what he was saying a little bit more. And then when the World Economic Forum start coming out with a lot of their saying that they want to do this by this time period and that by this time period and changes, and I was like, wait a minute, this is all the shit that this dude has been saying for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I was like, oh, okay. I mean, they might have took down his YouTube channel, but there are videos of him online on other people's channels where they might have a little clip of an interview here and there.
You know what's funny? I'm surprised they didn't try to permanently silence him.
Well, because if they did, everybody would know that what he's saying has a lot more validity. So it's better sometimes to leave people as a so-called crank and crazy and try to discredit them. Then if you take them out, then it sometimes can make people even more, because he already had a large following of people who were already like following the stuff that he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would have just made, I think it would have made more people, it would have made more people listen to him. It would have made more, it would have, if they want to add validity to what he's saying, more validity to what he's saying, and they want more doubt cast upon themselves, then go on ahead. I mean, I'm not saying, no, I'm saying that if they did something like that, that would make the case they're trying to say that no, we're not doing anything, it would make it even more dubious.
So what do we say for cases like Michael Rupert?
No, we've already talked about one person who's get us in hot water. They don't like him. They don't like him either. So,
they do not like him.
I mean, I'll back off that one for now. But I got my one last movie to bring up.
Okay, I'm
that
ready.
we did not talk about, and my apologies to those out there for not bringing this movie up.
Wait, Marcus.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, what about Minecraft?
Oh yeah, I didn't really think about Minecraft the game.
So I'll pull it up for the viewers. So for anyone that doesn't know what Minecraft is, it's basically it's an open world game, and for what we used to use it for, building cities or houses. So my brother, my younger brother, and my stepbrothers and I, excuse me, we would get on and play online with each other, and we would dig all the way down, and we would go underground and build our own little community. We would all build our own homes and have roller coasters so we could travel to each other's houses, and you'd be on the game for 4 different hours.
That's about getting you deeper and deeper into. Well, they're trying to build up that tolerance and you getting used to being in the game system like that for that very reason. Um, I guess. I mean, at this point, seeing how many different references that I can pull up myself, and I haven't even seen everything that's out there. If I brought 10 other people, and we all sat there and had how many movies that we can bring up that are metaverse related.
Okay,
I,
what's your movie?
oh, this last movie would be Inception. I know everybody should be familiar with Inception.
Inception. I thought it was Inception. Okay.
No, Inception. That is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, he's one of my. I actually really like Leonardo.
hmm Actually, go on ahead and read the description. I won't
Okay.
even break it down. I'll let you read the description and and then see what it actually says.
Dom Cobb, Leonardo DiCaprio, is a thief with the rare ability to enter people's dreams and steal their secrets from their sub. Wow. His skill has made him a hot commodity in the world of corporate espionage, but has also cost him everything he loves. Cobb gets a chance at redemption when he is offered a seemingly impossible task. Plant an idea in someone's mind. If he succeeds, then it will be the perfect crime, but a dangerous enemy anticipates Cobb's every move.
hmm Now that in that metaverse, he's literally forming whole realities and worlds. He's building whole worlds in people's minds, in their subconscious. And so there's parts where he like bends whole buildings and things like that. And I guess they're trying to show how easily you can get lost. And that's one of the real lessons which I take from that movie. How easy it is to get lost in these worlds. In fact, they had to have some kind of object to as a tether to be able to help them be able to tell the difference of when they're getting sucked too far in and how to get back out. And so, I'll leave it there as to what I think. And because think about it, if you start getting so plugged into these things, into this metaverse, yeah, we might talk about it from a you're just plugged in all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you opening yourself up when you're that plugged into?
You
What
want
level of brainwashing and manipulation and that you're being open to?
Speaking of the metaverse, one thing I always noticed is now, I think it was around maybe a few updates ago, or like just this past year, Apple, when they rolled out their new software updates after, well, I think during or after the pandemic first hit, now every app asks for your location. You can let me see if I can pull up an example on my phone. So say, let's see an app. Okay, you ever heard of Booksy?
Booksy?
Yes.
No, I
So
have not, sir.
you can book hair, you can book appointments with, so I use Booksy. It's a booking app, and I use that to book appointments with my barber. So,
Hmm.
well, I guess that's not a good reference. So scratch that. So let's use the app Telegram. You ever heard of that app?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay, or a video game called BitLife. They want your location for every that I download. It could be an app about food, like fake food, and they want my location. apps that aren't Uber or taxi related services need your location. For what? So you can't. There's not even an ad you could sell me.
Well, I notice it does that now with a lot more of because in order for like doing my shows, I do consume a lot of news because it cracks me up. They're like, well, people who are not watching MSNBC, like when you hear those people on the mainstream media, they're talking about, you know, low information voters because they're not watching the big cable networks. But I literally have probably about 20 different news apps on my phone.
Ooh, do you have Flipboard?
Yes, I do.
I used to have Flipboard, but with all these phones, it's funny. They can put all these technology in, control us, brainwash us, get us addicted to social media, have us base our self-esteem around it. But they, at least for Apple side, they can't even give you a phone that won't run out of storage.
Well, what I started doing is I still got to stay in touch with the major stories that are going on to a degree. So I will have, like, for instance, the Jacksonville Times Union. I'll have well, it's not the Miami Herald anymore, but it used to be Miami Herald. I used to have that one. I'll have the LA Times. I'll go through all of these different newspapers within all of these major cities. I have like the Weon Journal. I'll have Al Jazeera. I'll have BBC UK, BBC Australia. All of these different ones. I'll have RT, RT America. I'll have. I mean, I could just keep going down the list of all of these different ones. And the reason why is it's not that I trust. You know what the thing what you have to look for is what's not the major stories that they're pushing out. What are the stories that they don't talk about necessarily? The editorials which you find out at the bottom, the stuff that in an actual newspaper is like page 5. You look for that stuff because that's normally the up and coming journalists who really have put in the legwork and are giving you a solid good story a lot more often than the main stories.
Hey, Marcus, speaking of that, remind me to DM you about something after the show.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of these things, you want to know what I noticed is a big prevalence in these. It's kind of like it's a message they want you to get. It's either showing you that if you don't get right with what they're going to do, then you will have serious problems. Just like they are with the I'll call it the spicy jicey sick juice.
Mm-hmm.
It is the sick juice.
Yep.
It's like then it's like gripping control of your life in the same fashion the sick juice does. So I think that's what it's going to be with the metaverse. I think it's as soon as you put this on or you put on that headset, there's no going back.
Well, because I've talked to many people and they're like, well, I'm not going to worry about that, man. That's stupid, whatever. Well, what happens if your job is like, we're having our meetings in the metaverse now? Then you're going to have to do it. What happens when all of your family members around you are all on the metaverse? The only way you're going to be able to stay in touch with them is to get on the metaverse. Now, there's going to be some people who are like, nah, that's a bridge too far for me. But I think about it like this. When Twitter first came out, I thought Twitter was dumb as hell for the longest. I wasn't on Twitter for a very long time. I was like, man, that's just stuff for college kids. I don't really care about that. And then eventually got to the point where Twitter became like, if you are doing anything within politics, you kind of have to be on Twitter and nobody listens to you. It's like irrelevant if you're not on Twitter. So I eventually had to get on Twitter. I mean, I was doing protests and all kind of other stuff and being involved in politics long before Twitter came along, but you're not relevant until you're on doing it through Twitter for a good period of time. And then with Facebook, I'm only on Facebook so I stay in touch with family and friends because traveling so much, that was my only way to keep in touch with everybody. But it's kind of one of those things where if you're not doing this, then you're going to be left out of something. And so that's how people get roped into it. And so just like how I got on Twitter because I had to stay in the political fold, people will get on the metaverse for the same exact
You
reason.
know what's funny? The left, I call them the left branch, loves to anybody talking about anything in reference to not even just the sick juice, just in terms of reference, they love to point it out that it's right side biasness without the left side throwing their hand. So I say that to say this. I was doing some research on the metaverse, and it sounds like there's no oh well this side is this. You just it seems like everyone upper levels, whether it's Republican or Democrat, is all with the new Build Back Better and the new metaverse. It's
Well, I would say that the Republicans aren't so much
with
with
Build
it.
Back Better.
No, you have what would be, I guess, moderate Republicans who are cool with it, but all those ones who are conservatives or Tea Party types or MAGA type, and it's mostly because if you're giving the other side a win, it's just extreme partisanship. It's like I don't care if it can actually help actual people. You can't give the other side a win, so fuck the people. You know, it doesn't matter about if you can help the people. It's just a matter of you can't help this other side.
Exactly.
And, I guess that's just the level of partisanship that we're dealing with today. Like I had somebody for some odd reason ask me about Black Lives Matter and communism and loss of freedom, and I'm like, where on my profile do you see me mentioning Black Lives Matter or being a part of that or communism or anything you're talking about, person? So yeah, that's our little talk on the metaverse. You know. Now, oh yeah, I forgot. For next week, we will have a guest. Yeah,
I didn't know.
I know
Remember,
you know.
you didn't know.
And we are going to talk. We are going to talk. Was it wokeness
Oh,
in the metaverse? I mean, not metaverse, but in the MCU and in comic books.
oh, Marcus, you know how we were talking about cancel culture and censoring in past episodes?
All that's going to go into that too. We're going to talk some cancel culture.
So my quick question is, do you remember that song? You ain't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember why they removed Rick Ross's verse or had to force him to change it eventually before it?
Mm-mm.
So he had a partnership with Reeboks, and he says, "I poured Molly all of her champagne. She didn't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that. She didn't even know it." Then he goes, "I die over these Reeboks. They already knowing." So Reebok, as soon as that song dropped, pulled their sponsorship with him. And so they're censoring you. I was just wondering, because you brought that up, that sparked my idea, and I just mentioned that song. I was wondering if you knew that.
Well, I mean, it sounds like he about what we used to say back in the day. He slipped a girl a Mickey.
Yeah, or a
So,
well, I
you can't
call
be
it a
slipping Mickeys and but that's what it is.
But it was funny that he put that
But
on a song.
you know why it's called a roofie, right?
Why? Because
Because it's called Rohypnol.
You said what?
The drug is called Rohypnol.
So where does the roofie come from? Hip?
The roof, yeah, that's why.
I thought roofie meant because it makes girls take their top off.
No. No, that's why it's Rohypnol. I think it's something like that.
Okay.
That's why they called it that. And so I guess being a little bit more sly back in the day, they used to be like, yeah, he slipped her a Mickey.
Or you know what we call it now?
What?
A good old fashioned Bill Cosby.
And that's not even fair because the messed up thing about it is here's something a lot of people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
what he was doing, that was normal back in Hollywood. And it wasn't even like he was slipping on the pills. Everybody was doing all kind of crazy drugs back in
Yeah,
Hollywood.
let's not forget. My mom has a few friends in the industry, and when I was interested in making beats, at sometimes I had some conversations with people, and they would say they would talk about certain celebrities. And there was one guy who said, if you go to a Jamie Foxx party, do not take a drink of anything Jamie Foxx will give you. They
Mm.
said explicitly, if you're going to go to some of these celebrities or big Hollywood names parties, do not drink, do not take anything they're offering. Go sober.
That gives a new meaning to the song that Jamie Foxx had with
T-Pain,
T Pain.
blame it on
You
the
know,
alcohol.
blame it on the alcohol.
Blame it on the You know, they got cleared of the accusations, but even Ti and his wife Tiny were accused of sex trafficking. And my
Yeah,
oh
yeah, they did.
here's another story. So I'm not gonna say names, but there was an artist who, throws his industry parties, and someone we knew was invited to those parties who was in the industry. And as soon as he walked in, there was cocaine on the table, and they say, "Oh, you're not doing cocaine. Then why'd you come to a Ti party?"
Hmm.
I mean,
Well, I know of a celebrity where this was a prominent female celebrity. I'll say this in the music industry and
hip hop music or R&B?
hip hop music.
Okay, hip hop.
She had to go to the hospital, and they told she ended up canceling one of her performances. And they told everybody that she had exhaustion, like that she was really tired and she had to be rushed to the hospital for being extremely exhausted.
Is this Lauryn Hill?
I'm not gonna say who it was. It wasn't Lauryn Hill,
Okay.
but I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
But this, because I don't want to get defamation or nothing like this. I mean, this female artist had a large amount of semen pumped out of her stomach. That's all I can say. And let's just say I have very, very strong reason to believe it.
Believe it? One thing, it seems like
little what we call photographical evidence of things happening. Mm-hmm.
One thing. Can I just bring this up?
Mm-hmm.
One thing I noticed in pop culture, to go back to our normal topics, pop culture, just everything, is the over sexualization of everything. Everything has to be sex. You watch any movie, you watch any TV show, like you ever watch the show Power?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Great show. A great show. I recommend it to anyone. But it's just the fact that you go. So let's get my stream acting going. So as soon say there's a woman, female character, I walk in the room. Oh my god. Or like Ghost and Angie, whenever they would see each other. Oh, Ghost, I hate you. You murdered him. I didn't murder him, Angie. 5 seconds later, they're having sex when you guys were just talking murder over waffles. And it's just so unnecessary. 50 Cent puts the most unnecessary sex scenes.
We got to remember, 50 Cent. He's not the one doing the second. He's not the one doing the writing.
Very true. He just has the idea.
It's what's her name? Courtney. Whatever. I can't remember her last name. Courtney Kemp.
Her. You know what's funny? Her daddy issues played a part in why she ended up killing off the main character. Like,
yeah. Don't get me triggered on that right now.
But anyway, I say that to say, in her writing, there's a lot of just random sex scenes that are just so out of pocket. Maybe like it's funny because in real life, maybe you and I on the phone have shared a genuine moment, right? We share a genuine moment. The first thing when like say it was the opposite sex, me and a woman share, a real intimate moment. It didn't maybe have to be sexually intimate. It could just be maybe we told each other something that was getting something off our chest. We don't just look at each other and are like, oh my God, I want to have sex with you right here, right now. That's just what they make it seem. So then you got all these younger kids coming up, that watching these shows with their parents, especially if you got young kids, they're watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta with their moms. They're seeing this and thinking, oh, you better pop that, shake that, and they're only 7. So then when they get to that age and they get older, everyone's like, oh, you're a perv. This kid has an issue.
Yeah.
No, there was sex placed in front of me every 5 seconds. Everything was having sex. Like a 5-year-old, let's ask you this, Marcus. A 5-year-old that went to one of my close friends' little brother's preschools at the time went through a sex change. They had to start referring to him from a male name to a female name, and he was in pre-K. He was 5 years old.
Wow.
And it's not about
since it's such a prominent thing right now.
Can I just say this?
Oh boy.
It's not it's not the fact that the kid went and got a sex change, because he could be 25 and have gotten the sex change. My feelings on that don't change. My point is, why are we making a 5-year-old have to be? What happened to kids being kids? Why does 5-year-olds have to worry about their sexuality and what type of gender they're going to like when they haven't even learned their multiplication tables?
Boy, so much I want to say. So much I want to say.
Exactly.
I look at it like this: there are adults who are pushing their agenda through their kids, and this is something that's not new. It's just new, as in this is a different avenue. I've seen fathers who they're literally trying to make their kid the next, Ronaldo, at 2 years old. I've seen parents who moms who are putting their kids into all these beauty pageants because the mom, that's what she wanted to be. And I see them it's parents vicariously living through their kids. Unfortunately, the LGBTQ people are doing it, and it's not through a career or sports or something like that. They're pushing their sexuality through their kids, and now if an adult wants to transition or whatever,
they're grown.
That's different, I'm not gonna. That's just a whole different ball game, and I feel like and I have a big issue about them giving hormones and stuff to kids at certain, because they're like teenagers who are deciding that they want to go trans and they're taking meds and all. No. I don't. I feel like you're not developmentally yet. You are still developing. When you become an adult, if you want to make that choice to go through that transition, that's a whole nother matter. I mean, something not nearly as significant. But when I was younger, I used to believe, like, if you're under 18, you definitely shouldn't be getting a tattoo. But I watched parents who were getting their 14, 15, 16-year-olds tattoos.
Or I had friends whose parents didn't watch them. They went to a guy who hooked them up. My friend he was younger than us. He came to summer league practice one day. I think he had just turned 15. He already had a whole rib tattoo at 15.
I've seen it.
I was bringing up a point. I have a friend whose little sister's one of her good friends. He's 11 years old, and he essentially came out the closet. But what was interesting to me when I was 11, I wasn't into, oh my God, this girl's so good. She looks so nice. I was just into my sports, and I was trying to beat everyone at recess. I was into my video games, eating spicy chips and just wearing all the Jordans I could and basketball shorts and just being cool, listening to music. I wasn't thinking about being with, you know what I'm saying? Like, my head wasn't into, I want to be in a relationship. oh, I want a girl, I want a girlfriend. I was just a regular kid. But it seems like now they want these kids to be grown. TikTok plays a part. Like, I have some few friends who have some little sisters, who do the poses, like doing all these grown with lip gloss.
I hear you. Well, we'll save that. We'll save that. We'll put a button in that. We'll say that because we don't want people to like tune in right now at the end of the show and be like, I thought they were talking about Metaverse movies.
Yeah,
What the heck is going on? But we're going to talk about this next week because our special guest who we're having on. I'm wondering, should I go ahead and tell who the special guest is? Actually, yeah, I should just go ahead and tell because it'll help the audience. They'll be excited to have this person on, and it'll be kind of interesting. You already know?
Is it Cy Lawson?
How did you know?
I just had a feeling.
Yes.
That's going.
Cy Lawson, Mr. My co-host and one of my ride or dies since. Actually, a lot of people from this channel would know him because when I was doing my Black leadership panels, Chris was one of the people who was on there with me. And when I started out Political Matrix, I was still trying to do the panel thing. And then I brought Chris over to the Political Matrix. And it started off with me, Chris, and Emmanuel as we really started getting going. So, yeah, Chris will be joining us next week to talk about this.
Can we get a backstory on how you and Cy Lawson became internet buddies?
We'll do it. We'll do it on the next one. We'll do it on that because that's what I'll do. I'll let you go because he'll be the guest. So, hey, you get to fire those questions at him.
That's what I'm saying. That'd be good to see the backstory because you guys went from I didn't even know who you were till my pops is like, oh, we're doing a podcast. So. It'll be good, but then it'll be good for a perspective for someone else who, for you not being a parent, when I tell you about other children and different things that are coming up with the younger generation or just mine, what I'm seeing, Cy Lawson will be able to provide that background and viewpoint from a parent as well.
And for those who are just getting familiar with our channel and everything. Let everybody know, Jay, who is Cy Lawson?
That is the man who I call father. I don't know if you guys can see the resemblance. I have a lot more hair on my hair than he does, but I'm still growing a lot more hair.
Yeah, don't they? You better not say that out too loud.
Oh, nah, it's cool. I won't even lie. My dad keeps a nice clean fade. He keeps it. He has the wave spinning. He don't try to do too much. He don't push back the line. He just keeps it where it is, and he just rocks his nice fade. I can't even lie.
Well, and now, it's been going on. Me and Chris have been rocking for
about a year now. Doing the show.
Longer than a year.
Oh, I was just talking about doing the show.
Just doing the Political Matrix. That's easily about a year and a half. On the Political Matrix.
Because I remember his first episode.
So we're talking about Chris was a guest host for a while, and then he became a regular on Black Leadership on my Black Leadership panel.
He used to go. I can't remember her name, but he used to go on this woman's show every other week. I can't remember her name, but she spoke politics. And it was back when it was around the Trump and Hillary race. And it was big. You know how it always is around election time, left, right, divide. And, Cy Lawson representing the Political Matrix before he even was going on there telling people, yo, don't follow in either of what either party is telling you. There is it's lesser evil. What do you want to die by needle or do you want to die by car accident?
Mm-hmm. So, actually, I might have been in some of those panels. Actually, I think who you're thinking about is
Utrice Lead. That was the name. Utrice Lead. I think that was the woman's name.
Mm-hmm.
He used to
But let's see. Yeah, it first started out because I was like, when I first started doing the panels, the first person who I had, it was me and Haru.
Mm.
It was, yeah, me and Haru. And then I added Emmanuel. Yeah, the Blue Maverick. That's when the Blue Maverick came
Shout
on
out
board.
to Emmanuel. You can go get his good takes on the political matrix every Saturday at 11:30 Eastern Time.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna next week actually is going to be up a little bit earlier because we're gonna have a special guest over there also. We'll have Shadow Band Refugee will be on with us, and we'll be breaking down Build Back Better.
You
So
know, one of these week Saturdays, I got to show the audience I can get into my political bag, and I think I need to make a return.
we'll have to bring you on over. Actually, I have to reach out to Misha after the show. I want to have Misha come on this weekend if he's available. But I would love to have him come on because I'm going to probably bring up an old video that I did on Thanksgiving about Thanksgiving, and I would like to have him on to talk some of his
You know,
some of his thoughts.
you know, everybody in my, I have a girlfriend, and her family, they're into celebrating holidays, and they're big. Like, I went to their house a few years ago when we were friends, and I was making fun of them. They had the Grinch themed shower curtains, the Grinch theme. They had the Grinch themed toilet toilet covers, the Grinch themed rug. So, for our own reasons, holidays are just as another day. But, other indigenous people like to indulge on praisings and things that are not of their own. So for me, I see I'm kind of like a outsider when I'm like, well, I don't really get into the spirit of anything because I don't like celebrating something I'm not supposed to be celebrating.
Well, I know that I don't often. I mean, well, most people from the outside just only see me as a black guy, but I have a lot more mixtures and ancestry than meets the eye. And
Same here.
going back with a lot of, because I've spent some time on reservations with some of my family, and it, it, I get a deep pit in the bottom of my stomach and a lot of anger when thinking about that holiday. Even though my part of my family, they don't have that same angst towards it. They just look at, hey, well, we're with time off to hang with family, and I still, I still have a lot of belly ache about it. So I want to bring on some of my brothers who I know who frequent the reservations more often than me, and you know that way it's not just looked at as, oh, well, you just got this black guy who is running his mouth. I want to have some of my brothers who let them speak on it on this day.
Okay, so a couple quick fire questions before we get out of here. So
Okay.
to keep on, so knowing what we know about the metaverse, what we spoke about these next two episodes, the predictive programming, for you if you were to be a parent in 2021, what would be your status with your children in technology?
My status would be, I know that I wouldn't be able to completely prevent them from doing any of it because
They're going to see it.
they're going to see it, and um, you don't want to be so overly strict that if your kids get older, then they rush to it. I watched that with parents where they were so strict on so many different things. They didn't let them stay out at they didn't let them go out anywhere. They didn't let them go to parties. They didn't let them do any of that stuff. And then as soon as they got old enough to go out on their own, they were at parties all the time. They were drinking all the time. They were smoking. They were doing everything under the sun that they could not do because their parents were so restrictive on them. So I would allow them stuff in minor dosages, but I would always keep strict restrictions on that. So, for instance, yeah, you can use your metaverse, but only this amount of time. And then you also need to get outside. You need to go play. You need to go hang at your buddy's house, as long as it's not a buddy who's sitting there playing in the metaverse for hours and hours. You need to read. You need to be. I would have a list of things that you're going to have to do before you spend a lot of time in that. And I feel like part of that is going to be studying history, studying the things which are not looked at. I would also require my kid to indulge in a hobby that's non-electronic. I don't care if you want to play sports, if you want to paint, you want to draw, you want to rap, you want to, you want to write. But you need to have something, music. But you need to have some kind of outlet that's not stuck into that. Growing up, I played sports. I played almost every sport you can think of. I played music. I played multiple instruments. I used to write nonfiction and things like that, and I used to study history on my own. I most of my studying that I had a history level. I was like on a collegiate level at like 8th grade. As far as my studying, I literally used to read full encyclopedias, cover to cover. And so I know people are like, oh, you have the internet now. Yeah, but the internet censors information, it hides information. You might get sources which are not entirely correct, but when you're getting it from the encyclopedias and stuff, a lot of the information is less tampered with and a little bit more reliable. So I would just have they would just have to have a lot more. I would get them more attached to the world outside of cyber. Camping, fishing, all those kind of things.
When they're so say around 16 years old, are you allowing them to have a social media profile?
I would not.
Not at all. I mean, if that's what you do once you're 18 and leave my house, or go ahead.
I would be like this. If your grades and everything are tip top, then yes, and also I'm going to monitor who you're friends with. I don't want you on Twitter 16 having conversations with people who are 30 and getting into political debate. No. You want to get on, if you want to get on and you're talking to your friends in school about whatever new artists that you guys like to listen to, that's fine. If you guys are talking about the NBA and NFL, that's fine. But I don't want you getting into all of this other.
Don't be like young Jalen Lawson. I used to be 16 arguing with I got into an argument with a woman one time because she didn't agree with my take that it takes a village to raise a child. And I'm 16 getting cursed out by some 40-year-old woman.
And that's the reason why I want my kid to try to stay as innocent as they can for as long as they can. I know that's hard, and I know that sounds naive, but I would want them to try to be a kid, because once you become an adult, you can't go back to being a kid again.
Since I went down this path of trying to find the truth or find some answer to the question I'm always asking, like, why is it like this? My father used to tell me, like, calm down, like, just give it a break, give it a rest. But I was just so interested. My curiosity just kept me going. And I would just read and research until I got to a certain point around like a little bit after I turned 18. And I know I don't even know a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but I know there's a lot more I don't know. But just from what I know and what I can confirm and what I can't, just the stories, it's just like now I kind of see I will say, I do see the world in a jaded view. I mean, somebody told me I have a negative outlook. And I said, because I don't feel anything positive from this world. This world doesn't give me anything to be positive about.
Well, it is. The difference, I guess, it is a different time period, and it's a lot of different stuff going on. I guess I'll leave it at that. It's a different time period, so things have to be tweaked and adjusted. And if I had a kid who is as inquisitive as you are about things, then I would also feel wrong about not giving them that information. So it would just be kind of, I would try to, in little doses that I can to try to keep you from turning into another me.
But that's what my dad. But that's what my dad used to do. I remember I wanted money for an iPhone, and he made me write a essay on a speech from Dr. Ivan Van Sertima on the Columbus's journals and stories from his books. And to get the phone, I had to write an essay. So just he was making me do things like that. And then over the while, I think I hit a turning point. I'd say I hit a turning point when I was really into Malcolm X and I had a homework assignment. It was a project, and I wrote a 2,000-word essay on Malcolm X. And
Here, I got one which you probably haven't read, who you probably should read. This will give you a better understanding of the world and dealing with people in the world. Machiavelli. You need to read Prince Machiavelli.
I've only heard Machiavelli from Tupac, so I'm gonna.
No, you need to read the actual real Prince Machiavelli, and it'll teach you about Machiavellian thought and theory and Machiavellian methods and how certain people move through the world. Because this is the secret with a lot of politicians. A lot of people don't know. Most politicians and business leaders all study Machiavelli.
Oh,
and and it goes into the way they process and view and deal with the world. And then when you understand that these people are truly Machiavellian and what that means to be Machiavellian, then you'll realize that some of your skepticism that you have is warranted, and you won't be as naive as a lot of these people are when looking at what's going on in the world.
Whenever you're always talking about what's going on in the world, you seem as annoying, or like you're one of those, or you're just bringing the mood down. You're a buzzkill.
I've always, because I realize that this world doesn't have to be the way it is, but it's only because of the way it is, because of a small handful of people. And these small handful of people, it's because they're how do I say this best? Their spirit is not upright within them. And so everything they do, they're going to do it in a negative way. Even though they think of it like this. I would rather have all the money in the world and buy security and gates to protect myself from all the people that hate me instead of making sure everybody's good so nobody attacks anybody. That's my thing. My theory is I would try to help everybody as a whole so we don't have the need to want to conk each other over the head and steal from each other. They would rather have everything and take the risk of having that kind of society.
And then, what was the last quick fire question? Okay, so here's another one. So I said, what would be your status on them in phones? I said social media. So today we have a big thing is I feel like with phones, have you ever seen a Social Dilemma?
No, but I've heard of it.
So basically, it's all the tech gurus basically saying like social media is dangerous. Everything we already knew, and they say in their own they don't let their kids use it at all. Like no, it's a no in their house. So it's created this self-isolating term where you kind of you can be an a-hole or just a real POS, and people are just supposed. It's kind of got this thing where they brought it to real life, where I think people feel like because you are how you are, there is no way or form or openness to constructive criticism. Now, whereas they see everyone gets mad, they say you share an opinion on social media and then get upset at someone when they comment on it or how they feel it's under their business. But if it was under their business, why do you put it out on social media? So my question to you is, what are the thoughts of people are just this is who I am, accept me? Oh, normal. How do you feel on that mob mentality? Oh, normalize this, normalize that, normalize this. Oh, you
Well,
get what
it all goes back to that small handful of people who are running everything. They decided that because you got to, because the one thing I learned in the military, how things run is normally top down. So if you have leaders who are pretentious, everybody's anxious and nervous. If you have leaders who are selfish, everybody turns selfish, and because they follow the lead. And so if you have people who put out that they don't really give a shit about most people, then you create a society of people who don't give a shit about most people. And so you kind of, it all trickles down from the top. And so if you have a society where you do care about people, where you are trying to achieve, then you put that positive vibe and push that all the way down.
I want to save this for another show, but I just want the fans to know. We're gonna have a show. I don't know if it'll maybe be the one with Cy Lawson or maybe later shows, but we are going to address what Marcus and I personally feel like is the demasculinization of the man today.
Oh, that's going to be a next show. That'll be that'll be part of the woke mob stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a lot that's going to go on in that show because I've already talked to Chris about some of the things that he wants to talk about with the whole MCU. We're going to talk about the whole woke mob because this all started from a leaked source from Kevin Feige, who's over MCU and some of his issues he's having with the head of the studio, and so it trickles into a lot of different directions, and it's going to touch on a lot of different subjects.
Are we going on Sunday?
Yeah, we can do it on Sunday.
Okay. Is there
provided I'm not too tired or anything, but as long as I'm not too tired, then yeah, we'll do it on Sunday.
So, is there anything else you want to get off? Any questions?
No. We can save it all for next week. Or and I'm pretty sure you got a couple of questions for me once we go off cam. So
yeah, that's what I was about to say. We can get after after the show. But I did want to say thank you for everybody for sticking with us. I know the technical difficulties.
Yes.
I know in the video, I know it seemed like I may have been dozing off. I'm tired, worked all day. I just want to say thank you for rocking with us. We really appreciate it. And this is my first time ever being on something live. So, I look all crazy. Sometimes I'm off the cameras or like if I'm a little tired, I'm yawning. But I just want to say thank you guys for supporting the show and just riding with us every night. I know people got kids, families out there, but you guys take the last few hours that you can get to get some sleep to stay with us and listen to us just talk bullshit about this crazy world we live in.
Well, you got to remember, you're still within your 10th show. This is like maybe show 6.
Yeah. No.
And so as you get to more shows, like I think of total, I have done live streams. I've maybe done a couple hundred live streams already. So I have hours and hours and hours of live stream, and sometimes I come on, I'm tired. But there's ways where I have my little tricks where most people don't notice it nearly as much. I have times where, like, you don't see them right now, but I don't. A lot of times when I was doing videos and live streams, where I just don't sleep. I get so obsessed with a task, and then I come in all bags or all crazy and all that. And then there are times where we could be having a discussion where it might be something that goes in a direction where I might not know a whole lot about that subject. And so I have to kind of defer and push that off to other people and then try to find my spot where I can hop in. It's all a process. And then you're going to have times when we even have the topics that we're going to go into, and it's just tough to kind of get going. And find your spot because when you're not used to doing live streams, it's kind of like double dutch.
I'm 19 and I'm speaking to people who are like half my age,
double your age.
Exactly. So sometimes I don't want to come off as like, oh, you think you haven't even paid rent, you haven't paid mortgage. But I think if anything I'm saying is backed by facts and real research, I think everybody has a chance to step their foot in the door and get what they need to get off.
Well, I wouldn't have brought you on here if I didn't think that people could learn something from. And another thing is, age. Toss age out the window. I learned something from everybody, no matter their age. You can learn something from a 5-year-old. So,
Very true.
and I'm pretty sure the audience that we have, I consider if they rock with me, and I consider myself to be, an average, approachable, humble person. I'm pretty sure most of them are just as humble and willing to learn from each other. So,
Exactly. Oh, and then everybody, since we're going to talk about all these different things with Cy Lawson, if you guys haven't, I want you guys to go over and research consent, manufacturing consent. And I want everybody to go and watch that. It's a 4-hour documentary. It's in 4 different parts. From now until Sunday, I want you guys to watch it so that I could bring it up to bring in some points.
If they haven't already. You got to remember, we got a very, very bright audience.
Exactly. So if you guys have seen it, that's even better. So everybody go. It's on YouTube. It's called Manufacturing Consent. It's about Edward Bernays. So then I can bring it up for young Morpheus and Cy Lawson to just bring them some points and how everything's tying into today.
But yeah, that'll be cool. And thank everybody for tuning in with us, and definitely, like Jay said, appreciate those who bear with all the technical difficulties. I'll probably find the minute mark when we kind of got it all sorted out and put it in the chat. Like, hey, you can skip and go to this minute mark here. And skip past the technical difficulties. Thank you, my brother Misha, for hanging with us all the way to the end. And anybody else who's in here that we don't see comments, and appreciate and love you all. Have a safe week, and if you do celebrate Thanksgiving, I wish you the best. I'm not holding a negative eye towards you individually. I know everybody doesn't have the knowledge that we do about where this tradition comes from, and so I'll just leave it at that. And Misha, I'll hit you up in the DM and talk to you later. This has been Talk of the Ages. I'm your host, Marcus Young Morpheus Cage, here with Jalen Lawson. See you guys on the next one.
We out. Stay up.